Hi everyone, this video is in response to @AnuEyes. Thank you so much for your request. The dormant Kundalini energy, often depicted as being coiled 3.5 times at the base of the spine, is said to be energetically sealed within the Leyden glands that correspond with the sacral or Swadhisthana chakra, until it undergoes a process of awakening, stimulation, or indeed activation. So what does all this mean? Well, the 3.5 coils of the Kundalini serpent signify the 3.5 days that Jesus spent in the tomb prior to his resurrection, and also refer to the time that the moon spends in each sun sign during its cycle, which is known as the sacred secretion time phase or practice time. According to Harold Percival in Thinking and Destiny, the sacred secretion or the Christ seed is traveling through the lower chakras during this 3.5 day time phase. And this is one of the reasons why we are advised to save seed or do our retention practices at this time. The other reason is that during this 3.5 day time phase, we receive astral influxes bespoke to our individual DNA, which are precipitated into CSF at the fontanelle, the door of Jesus, into the Christ oil there. Of course, this is a minimum window to practice seed or semen retention, because any increased duration will add to the concentration of life force or ojas in your temple body and have positive effects throughout the body and experiences of life too. Now, this topic is covered in the God Design in more detail, but here again are some of the scientific benefits of seed retention. Increased serotonin levels. Serotonin is one of the precursors to DMT and the other biochemicals of enlightenment. So in other words, we can't have the full experience of enlightenment without the practice of retention. Decreased prolactin levels. Excess prolactin causes various problems such as depression, anxiety, headaches, and even weight gain. Dopamine balance. Too much or too little dopamine is detrimental. Too much drives addiction, compulsion, and aggression, whereas too little dopamine leads to apathy, lethargy, and the inability to love, the sense of just like withdrawal, and you can't be bothered with life anymore. However, dopamine balance, a good amount, fuels healthy motivation, focus, and excitement for life. Another thing about retention is that it improves manifestation and spiritual vision. Procreative essences fuel the imagination and build magnetism, assisting us with the law of attraction. The electromagnetic force in procreative essence supports regeneration at the cellular level. It's this force that literally holds our cells together. A quick glance at alchemy and Bible studies illustrates the golden rod, which refers to the spine and carries the preserved procreative essences or gold upward toward the throne. And it says in 1 Kings 10:14, now the weight of gold that came to Solomon in 1 year was 666 talents of gold. So in other words, the soul of man, our soul, Solomon, exchanges its lead or it's carbon 12 666 for gold by doing retention. It can upgrade the carbon into finer essences when it's retained. As the procreative essences are reabsorbed into the body at the root and sacral chakras and raised towards the receptacle of gold, which is the pineal gland, it fuels the chemicalization or manifestation of the biochemicals of enlightenment, DMT, pinealine, and all of the rest of them. For more on the subject of gold specifically, and phosphorus and the inner light, I recommend this previous video. But going back to a more modern perspective now, this is a quote that I've used before, when asked by a patient whether or not semen retention was effective, Dr. Raymond Bernard replied, "You ask whether the draining from the body of lecithin and phosphorus through the sexual act will hinder the highest intellectual achievement and debilitate body and brain. Most definitely this is the case. Read my article on Do Neuroses and Psychoses Have a Chemical Origin, in which I show that the loss of these nerve and brain foods through sexual indulgence in any form deprives the nerves and brain of needed nourishment and leads to nervous and mental disorders of all kinds. Our insane asylums are now overfilled with the victims of thoughtless sexual indulgence, which has withdrawn valuable nutrients from the brain and disordered its functioning. These pitiful individuals, when in possession of their normal brain structure, never realized that with each discharge of seminal fluid, they are pouring forth the very substance of their nerves and brain, until a time is reached when their brain is so sapped of lecithin that it ceases to function. Measurements have shown an actual decrease in the lecithin content of the brains of the insane. This was due to previous sex indulgence, as a result of which the glands took up the body's lecithin to replace expended fluids." And that is page 4. Science Discovers the Physiological Value of Continence by Dr. Raymond Bernard. A powerful and dramatic piece of literature, to be sure. And I always refer back to this quote because it really highlights the importance and potential of these vital essences. And here are a few practical guidelines to assist with the art of retention. Mindfulness allows you to observe and redirect your mental energy, preventing it from getting tangled in low vibrational frequencies, negative or excessive sexual thoughts. Regular meditation on the heart chakra will promote the upward movement of these energies and essences as well. Secondly, maintaining a healthy and balanced lifestyle that includes regular exercise, proper nutrition, and sufficient sleep, because physical well-being contributes significantly to our mental and emotional balance or chemistry because of those endocrine secretions that are going into our bodily fluids, and therefore we can reduce the likelihood of impulsive and mood-driven behaviors when we're in a healthier place or a healthier state. Thirdly, the procreative essences express themselves in our work and actions, so channel their intelligent energy into art, music, writing, or any hobby or work that captures your true interests. Again, these essences also fuel your ability to be a powerful manifester. So spend time flexing the muscle of your imagination and join the collective consciousness in building a brighter world for us all. Next, you can foster healthy relations and engage in social connections, because having meaningful conversations that stoke the fires of your inner being contributes to your emotional well-being, and it reduces the desire to connect in less fulfilling ways. Next, you could explore Tantric or Taoist practices that focus on channeling and transmuting sexual energy. Tantra emphasizes the integration of physical, emotional, and the spiritual aspects of life, providing techniques for harnessing and directing sexual energy for personal growth and spiritual awakening. You can also engage in practices like Qigong or Tai Chi, which involve breath control, meditation, and slow, deliberate movements aiming to balance the body's vital energy, or Qi. And that promotes the overall well-being, including the harmonious circulation of sexual energy. You can also explore the philosophy of carezza, a gentle bonding form of intimacy that prioritizes emotional connection over orgasm. Personally, I'm a very big fan of carezza. Incorporate specific yoga practices like bandhas, which are energy locks, into your routine to help regulate and redirect the flow of energy within the body. And this previous video includes a Kundalini technique that focuses on awakening and guiding the dormant energy located at the base of your spine using Mula Bandha, which is also known as root lock. So by squeezing all of those centers down at the base of your spine, you are actually helping to redirect and to retain those essences. If you do decide to explore any of these techniques, consider learning from an experienced teacher or practitioner, and always approach your practices with respect and a commitment to your overall well-being. As I've said before, if we force the Kundalini upwards without the bliss of Soma and the downward pull of those blissful secretions, we can have an imbalance, and then we can have negative manifestations happening, which is not something that we want to promote. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, the links to my books, courses and other resources are in the description box below this video. May divine love manifest itself in you all, always and in all ways. Namaste.